Let's talk about the Cardinals 49ers game. It turned into quite an exciting back and forth game there. It was pretty exciting one back and forth until the last minute. You got to watch more of that game. Why don't you tell me how you felt like it went?
Um, Chaotic. At a glance, you might think that this was one of those classic tale of two halves kind of games, and it was. But what was behind that was wild. Like it was just, in a lot of ways, we truly were the better team. This should have been a distant win for us. We were moving the ball pretty well, and then we'd have something happen at the worst possible moment. A blocked field goal, return for a touchdown. But then again, on the other side of it, they had, I think, 2 red zone turnovers for them as well, and one of them at like the 6-yard line. So it was just a chaotic game. If you played that one 10 more times, I have no idea what ratio win to loss there is for each team. But it was just, it was chaotic. Obviously, I'm happy with the result, but at halftime, I was ready to fire all the coaches. Out of it and into the sun, man. Kyler can go with you. Being 23-10 at halftime, and he had just thrown a nasty pick to Nick Bosa, and so it was bad. But they gutted it out. The defense really stepped up in the second half. Didn't allow a single point in the second half, which I can't. There was some crazy stats getting passed around about Brock Purdy getting held in a half with no points. It's like hadn't happened yet in his career. Short career, granted, but hadn't happened until this. It was weird. This was wild. So. I think James Conner only had like 3 yards at half, and then ended up with almost 90. So
yeah,
it was a tale of two halves, but there's more to it than that. Excuse me. So things that were positives. They obviously, the whole didn't give up, and that's great. But there's still some cohesion building between Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. in particular that seems to need to take place. Only a couple of catches in this game for 30 yards. One of them was really clutch. 4th and 5, and he just kind of said, please, Marvin, catch this. And he did, so that's nice. But it was a good game to have a solid number 2, and Michael Wilson stepped up. Again, we had a pretty balanced offense between air and ground, and that was good. So we're going to need to do that more moving forward. Not turning the ball over a lot really helped us. Kyler's one pick. It was the Nick Bosa one. I think he just didn't see him really behind our right tackle. But still, it was kind of a nasty interception. So, it was looking back, it's kind of a weird game. I'm glad that it's over because it was exhausting emotionally. But it was great to see the refs stay out of it. We talked about this during the Dallas game. It was just they did not. I kind of noticed it at one point during the game. Man, they really haven't called a lot of penalties. They called 5. And so I appreciate their staying out of it. But the Cardinals still have some of the same issues they've had. You can still run the ball on us. A lot of the criticism that I've seen of the Niners coming off of this game was like, why didn't you keep running the ball? Jordan Mason was killing it like 6 yards a clip. I was like, that's a good question. I don't know why. But they really wanted to put the ball in Brock Purdy's hands. Brandon Ayuk finally came to life, earning that $30 million a year. So it was a lot. There's a lot here, and we'll get to play them again, I think, to close out the season. So it'll be interesting between now and then. Can they get Christian McCaffrey back, and so on. So, those my initial takeaways are that was chaotic. I'm glad we came out on top. What did you see here?
A lot of the same things. It really was a fun game to go and look at. Jordan Mason has been such a kind of revelation. Like, what a great thing. Oh, hey, buddy, you get to go fill in for Christian McCaffrey is a lot of weight to put on someone. But he's really seemed to kind of do that with a lot of grace and really jumped on out there. I actually thought that the defense, there's so many pieces to watch on the 49ers. I thought your defense did a good job. I mean, they were pretty impactful yesterday. With 2 sacks, 2 interceptions. Late in the game, they had a bunch of pass deflections at the line that really made an impact on the game. I mean, I think that's how Kaiser White got his interception. Maybe that's how they got the other interception. Actually, was a tip ball or something like that. But they just had such a great impact. It wasn't always getting the quarterback. Sacking Brock, of course, had some pretty wild escapes where I felt like he was pretty well pinned. He's almost Aaron Rodgers esque in that regard, where he's not fast, but he's quick enough. As opposed to Kyler, who what was it? It wasn't the first play, but one of those early plays in the first half where he did what was it, a 50-yard run, and it was designed, which always gives me angst watching a running quarterback. But every once in a while, it's hard to remember how fast he really is. And in that particular play, he was maybe a step ahead when he got out kind of the box and got outside, and then nobody could catch him. It's like, wow, he really is quite quick. And there were a number of those kind of plays during the game. I actually am curious about your thoughts of how excited you are to see those specifically designed runs for him. In these closer games that are divisional games, they're very impactful, they're very important. Like if I saw that against, let's say, Carolina, I probably would be considerably more frustrated. But against a divisional opponent, I thought that was a very interesting kind of approach. What were your thoughts on that? Does that concern you a lot, or where are you at on that?
Kyler usually runs, in my opinion, kind of intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
He is not. He's not Josh Allen, and he knows he's not Josh Allen. He runs away from contact. He's trying to get out of bounds. If you can cut loose and run super fast, okay, run super fast, man. I'm all for it. I don't want to see you trying to Derrick Henry your way through even corners and safeties, though. So he doesn't do that. He's good at sliding. He's good at doing that weird little it's not even it's like a rolling slide or something like that he does forward oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's trying to scare people because he'll do it right into their legs. Lord, not my knees. And and I don't know, maybe that keeps them from diving into him or something. I don't know what it is, but whatever the case is, he seems to be quite smart about it, especially this year. I think right now he's averaging like 11 yards per touch, per carry. Excuse me, per carry.
Yes.
Like passes as well. And so he's being very efficient with it, even more than guys like Lamar. He doesn't have as many yards as Lamar, but he's got however many, I think he's got 270 rushing yards this year off of like 25 carries. So he's really not doing a lot. So if he wants to carry the ball 4 or 5 times a game, I don't have an issue with that. Just don't be trying to slam into guys. Don't be trying to, don't do the brotherly shove Philly play or whatever. Don't do that. Let backup quarterback do that. Or James Conner, he's 240 pounds or whatever. So I don't have an issue with the running. Just be smart about it. It's true that it's possible at any step your ACL can tear. That's what happened 2 years ago. But and it wasn't like he was doing some crazy juke. He was just running along.
You can't control that.
He turned to the left and his right knee went. So it's just sometimes it's that time. But I don't have any issue with that. In fact, I agree. I think with the people that say it's like this is one of your tools. Like if you have a great arm, I wouldn't tell you not to use your arm. There's a bit of risk if you don't use it right. So I'll go along with him with that.
Okay.
One
last. Oh yeah, you're good. Oh, I just went. One last observation was the hero of the game and the villain of the game. In a way, villain's a strong word. The hero of the game, in my opinion, ended up being Chad Ryland. Out of nowhere, I think he ended up. What a great thing for him. Maybe a little bit maligned coming into that game. Had a great game. Was obviously a huge impact. The poor guy who ends up being the villain, for lack of a better word, I felt like ended up actually being Jordan Mason. That late fumble at the end was very costly for a guy who otherwise had a great game. So that was my last observation. Sorry.
No, that was good. I agree. Now, Ryland was very nearly both the hero and the villain because that blocked kick. Everyone's saying that his trajectory was low. He should have supposed to go higher.
Sure.
And obviously, if it touches a guy's hand, you think, oh, it should have been higher. It's like, well, yeah, but I guess from actual kickers who looked at it, they were like, that actually looked kind of low. Okay,
Sure. Sure.
mid. So fair enough. He was almost both. I will say for just kind of looking forward for both teams, or well, for the Cardinals rather. We did have one nasty injury. Our right guard, who's been playing quite well, is done for the season. So that's a stinker. On the positive side of injuries, it looks like we're getting a couple of guys back. We might get our right tackle back. We've been using our backup right tackle in third and fourth for the last few weeks, but we're getting our right tackle back in the next few weeks, and then we're supposed to get a couple other guys back. Darius Robinson, who we drafted in the first round this year, is supposed to. He's at least practicing, and we'll get Chad Ryland's predecessor should come back. Matt Prater, he's practicing now, so that's good at least moving forward. It sucks that we had the one big injury to a player who's been playing well, but if we can keep those to not catastrophic levels for the most part, it should be room for some optimism moving forward a little bit. Looking forward to watching the game against Green Bay this Sunday. We always have good games against Green Bay. For some reason, they play well against us. We play well against them. They've been some of the most fun games I've ever seen against them. So looking forward to it.